Pop, with a lot of, I think especially the end of last year, there was a lot of news coming out about a lot of funds getting a piece of Bitcoin. It seems to me that the volatility, like we're not getting as big as swings in Bitcoin. Do you see this continuing? Like it staples out a little bit as more and more people come in?
Don't speak too soon, man. Remember, it crashed 20% in a single day, like 2 weeks ago, and everyone thought the world was ending, right? Yeah. It's like, look, I mean, it's all relative, right? So what I'll say is Bitcoin at I don't know, sometime in November was $10,000.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're talking about an asset went from 10,000 to 40,000, 400% increase in 90 days, right? Or whatever it was. Yeah. And then it dropped 20%. And when it dropped 20%, it actually dropped, it was close. It felt like it was over a couple of days. It was more like almost like a 25% drop. So like $10,000, off the price. And so like when that happens, where it drops from 10,000 to 8,000, like that's 20% drop. Like, okay, it's 20%. When it drops, from, let's say it was 50 to 40, now you're talking about a $10,000 swing. That feels pretty different, right? And so I think that the percentages are getting a little bit smaller, but now it's bigger dollar amounts. And so, you can imagine if you're the guy who comes in and goes, I'll just buy one Bitcoin, right? You buy it for $40,000 and it drops all the way to 30. Like I just lost $10,000. Yeah. Well, that was the price of a single Bitcoin, 90 days ago. And so I think that it's something to watch, but I do think that as you get more liquidity in the market through more adoption and more diversified holdings, you'll get more utility out of it and you'll get less volatility.
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned to you earlier, I was a professional poker player firsthand, and I feel like poker players had to been some of like the first adopters really because of the use case, especially being an American online poker player. A lot of times you had to transact through Bitcoin. So I just think back to those days, man. And that's what I mentioned with the volatility. It's like, it's not what it used to be, it's settling down. People are coming into it. It's great to see, man. And Elon has been a supporter of BTC. It's the only thing in his Twitter bio, at least last time I checked. I know he did that today. Man, and you said Tesla and SpaceX adding BTC to their balance sheet is now inevitable. Your conviction is pretty strong here, huh?
I don't know when he's going to announce it. I don't know, that they're going to do it, but I feel like it's, I would be shocked if we end this year and Tesla hasn't put in Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Shocked. And really it just comes down to, he understands it. Like he didn't, now he does. And now that he understands it, you just can't learn about this stuff and walk away and be like, I know about it. I have, $500 million. I'm not going to put any of it in Bitcoin. Like that just doesn't happen, right? Like if you understand and you have access to capital, you convert the dollars into Bitcoin. And so I don't know how much cash they have on their balance sheet, but it's not $5, right? It's a lot of money. And so I have no doubt that he's going to do it. Even if he literally does 0.5%, and he does it as a complete marketing gimmick just to get all the Bitcoiners to be Tesla fanboys, he's still going to do it, right? So like why he does it, people will debate, is it healthy, is it not, whatever, but like I just don't see a world where he doesn't do it now.
Yeah. Man, we got people like yourself, Winklevoss twins, Chamath, Dave Portnoy, sticking up for this movement, like champion of the people. That's what it's coming across as. Do you think it feels like to me this like a changing of the guard is coming here from like a cultural, societal standpoint? Are you seeing things the same way?
Yeah, look, I think everyone you just mentioned has two things in common, right? They all have a chip on their shoulder for whatever the reason is, but they're all from a personality standpoint, like probably pretty more similar than not, right? In terms of just, type A personalities, chip on their shoulder, have something to prove, don't mind kind of being put in these uncomfortable positions in public, all that kind of stuff. I would even go as far as to say all of them and me are loud and brash and, all that kind of stuff. The second thing, though, is they're all students of the internet, right? Or citizens of the internet in some form or fashion. And so some of them are a little bit older than others. I like to say, actually, in that group, I'm probably the youngest. So, all those old guys. But I think that, it's just they understand the internet, right? And so whether it's the memes and the GIFs, whether it's just the way to kind of talk shit on the internet, or the way to kind of appeal to people, the populism that kind of pervades in some of these situations, the standing up for the little guy, like all those things are just, if you're a citizen of the internet, like, this stuff, and you see it, right? Like, if I see Dave Portnoy about to get into the, in the mud with somebody, I'm just like, whoever the person is, like, yo, you're about to fight the expert. Like, don't do it. Right. Like, what are you thinking? Are you crazy? And so, like, a perfect example is like Steve Cohen the other day, right? 2 days ago or whatever, started chirping. And I was like, dude, you were about to get dragged on the internet harder than you've ever been dragged before. And you have no clue what's coming. Right. So it's just like, at some point, like I tweeted earlier that day, I was like, don't fuck with the internet. Right. Just like when it's time for the internet to play, the internet is undefeated. And so you just don't want to kind of get on the wrong side of, forget that group you mentioned, but just anybody that has any sort of audience on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's incredible. When people point out this movement, Pomp, this Wall Street bets, taking out hedge funds, and along with other numerous points, being a sign that we could be in a bubble. What is your take on that?
Sure. It seems like we've been in a bubble for the last decade. They've been saying that over and over and over again, but somehow the bubble never popped. Right. So, whatever. I'm a big, let the free market reign, and everyone just open the markets, let everybody play, and the market will be the referee. If you're an idiot and you buy overvalued stocks, then you're going to lose money. If you're an idiot and you sit on the sidelines because you think the stocks are going to correct and they don't correct, then you're going to lose, right? Like, it's this whole idea. I'll give you a great one. I saw Senator Warren is asking the SEC to make sure that stock prices represent fundamentals.
Yeah, that was a hoot.
Like, okay, so just so we're clear, we're going to allow the regulators, right? And by the way, I actually don't think the regulators want to do that, right? I think the regulators would be the first people to be like, no, we're not playing this game. Like, that is not something we're going to do. But just like, it just shows, I think, a lack of respect in some ways of like how difficult that is, right? Like, so GameStop, right? I don't know what it's trading at, 50 billion or 40 billion, whatever the hell it is, right? Like, what's it worth? I don't know. 50 billion seems pretty high, right? Like, sure. Zero seems pretty low. So like, I don't know, somewhere between 0 and 50, like, it's just like, how do you kind of determine this stuff? And that's ultimately, like, my opinion doesn't matter, right? Neither does anybody else's. It's like the